The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and exclusively soft host, once more into the breach to your friends. And kind of a quiet day at TFNN today because many, I'm here, have Comcast issues in the Northeast, so we don't have those folks in the Tiger's Den today. So we'll figure out ways around it. Of course, we always have archives of the show, so if you can't listen at the moment, you can listen later. Kind of an interesting day, a lot of moving pieces. So we'll talk about those today. But just a lot of things going on, but the market's still kind of creeping up. Looks like it wants to go test the 2,600 on the S&P cash. I suspect we're going to do that before Wednesday. We are going into the options expiration season. And then, of course, what else do we have? Well, we go into Thanksgiving and the end of the year. But we're basically at the point where if you're going to do some tax selling, it's probably going to be this week. So we could see a tale of two cities, a lot of stocks that were down this year. We can see additional selling in it, the stocks that are up, people just wanting to buy more. But don't see a lot of tax selling or people diving in to get that done. And that generally sets up, in the next week or so, kind of the end of the year, and it's very hard to sell off come the end of the year. I've taken off my way out of the money. Well, I guess they're fairly way out of the money puts this morning and trying to set up for buying stocks with high short interest that will slowly be squeezed out by the end of the year. Of course, we could have the House or Senate blow up the tax deal. That would change something, but my guess is they've been fairly good at being tight-lipped so far, and that means that they've probably decided that it's best for them to get something done, no matter what it is, and out the door before the end of the year, or face the pitchforks of people at home. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we're still there. So what's happening? Well, it's certainly one of those days where it's feast or famine. But you just when you look at the volume, these Mondays are now really starting to pick up. We got 2 million shares pretty much as we started the show today. And of course, Fridays, even Fridays are starting to pick up. Normally you get that in September. This has been one of these years where volume has taken a while and all the way up into November to really see Mondays start pick back up and get that pattern established. But we'll talk about this. We got a lot of news today, so we better just get our history out of the way, and then we'll get into some news.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is nothing but history repeating it on this day in 1918, led by Bolshevik party leader Vladimir Lenin. Leftist revolutionaries launch a nearly bloodless coup against the coup d'etat. Never took French. Russians' ineffectual provisional government. The Bolsheviks and their allies occupied government buildings, other strategic locations in the Russian capital of Petrograd, now St. Petersburg, and within 2 days had formed the new government with Lenin as its head. Bolshevik Russia, later renamed the Union of Social Republics, was the world's first Marxist state and ended, like all socialist and communists, in utter failure. The interesting thing is probably without the First World War, they wouldn't have been able to take over. The king and his family, not all that great of folks, but they just kept sending people in to die on the Eastern Front of the First World War. And just, I think there's something with Russians where life is just cheap for all of them, and it has been forever. Even today, it seems to be human life doesn't really mean that much, especially if you're in war. It's a lot cheaper than actually buying a tank or a gun that works, was to send them down to get mowed down by the new machine guns in 1918. And people got just tired of being sent down to die at the hands of the Germans on the Eastern Front. Yeah, this is what, 1918. So we're 3.5 years into the First World War. And of course, the lines never really varied that much. And pretty much everybody running the armies, whether it was the German army or all the other ones, the Italians, the French, the English were probably the only people that half knew what they were doing, and they had a bunch of bumpkins. They just continued to throw life after life down and life after life down the tubes. But this basically got the people, the communists, back in power there after a lot of people hated what the king and all the rest were doing. Question in here. Okay. Fox sold to Disney. Well, that'd be interesting. Another rumor. I think we're going to have a lot of rumors going on in the very near future. Of course, today we'll talk a little bit more about Qualcomm and Avago. We talked about it Friday on Tom's show. As most people figured out, I've had a pretty good rule of thumb, and that is that any kind of small premium was the first round. And of course, what they offer today, $70, quickly shot down by Qualcomm, and that's why these things are kind of fading out there a little bit. It's going to take, my guess, it's going to take a while. Of course, we've had other ones blown out today. We'll try to get to those. The Sprint and T-Mobile thing, losing gas. We'll talk about why that is there too. But I guess we should just get into the news here. Of course, over the weekend, the biggest thing is the Night of the Long Knives in Saudi Arabia. Everybody getting arrested, and then some people just kind of coincidentally dying in a helicopter crash. Would never say anything, but you know, it was a little weird that they crashed right into the grassy knoll. You get that? Anyway. Yeah, there's going to be more than a few conspiracy theories about basically the guy that's running the show biggest threat kind of dying out there in a helicopter accident. Just wonder how they got the pilot who agreed with the whole deal, but we'll find out later.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Attica, Attica. That's what I can hear Prince Dillweed screaming at the top of the Ritz there in Saudi Arabia. Attica. Just probably lacks a little bit of something, doesn't it? Anyway, we're up 4 points on the S&P cash. Certainly looks like we're going to test 2,600 on the S&P. We're just too close on this thing. So probably in the next 2 days, I think probably a little pop into Wednesday. We are getting into options expiration. And my guess is we're going to see kind of that pop there. I don't think there's a lot of money to be made either long or short in the indexes, and it's probably between now and the end of the year the money's going to be made in individual stocks, so we'll keep an eye on that. A lot of legal issues hitting, especially the social media stocks. They kind of wiggled out of everything last week about the quote Russian involvement in buying ads. We found out that it was 0.0001% of the money spent in the election came from the Russians. So they certainly got their money worth because it's gone viral, and that seems like all we talk about. But there's bigger issues out there. We've talked about how some of those are like Microsoft being able to say no to the U.S. Justice system when they say you've got to give us data from another country. Same kind of thing going on over the last couple of days, the last week with Google in Canada. Canada says kind of the same thing. You have to, all over the world, delete data that we do not like. And the thing here is there's a company, and apparently, if you believe, and I probably do, the reporting on this company is making a 100% knockoff of a product that another company in Canada is making. And maybe some guy left one company and actually knew how to make it exactly, but selling it for half or less off a big knockoff. And why they've changed the name, the product's pretty much the same, other than it's not built to the quality standards of the bigger company that they've knocked off. But you can't really find it. The company sued many people that are advertising it. But if you Google it, then especially outside of Canada, you can find other people selling it. You can find people in Asia that'll directly drop ship it to you. And when it's half the price, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how long this thing will last and whether anybody says that it's a great product. But apparently, half is a fairly decent selling point when you're talking about price. But Canada's basically saying you've got to delete it all over the world, your search results, because people are going there and taking the company that that we have here, our wonderful Canadian company, and these guys are getting ripped off. So you have to literally all around the world make sure that no one can find that link to the company that's making the knockoff. And whether you're taking data from Ireland or you're telling somebody like a Canadian what to do in the United States, this is kind of a sticky wicket, and it's only going to get worse until we get some rules about how and what one country can tell the other to do. Google's been kind of big on a variety of things, but between this and the YouTube lawsuit by Prager, I think these guys are starting to see a lot of the chinks that they should have been looking at in the armor of their business plan a long time ago. As I've said, a lot of things could be done fairly quickly if they just wanted to adapt the Yelp model after those guys got in trouble. But they really don't seem to want to get that involved in it. Other things going on. Some people ask me what the difference is between Bitcoin and Ethereum for blockchain technology. And I wanted to try to get it in here before the end of this and we start looking at charts. But Ethereum is a programmable blockchain where Bitcoin is not. You may have read that Bitcoin already got, Ethereum already got hacked, and a lot of the Ethereum coins went to somebody else. So the programmable part is the fly in the ointment. Many people are crowdsourcing bug fixes for Ethereum. There's a company, I can't think of them right now, but they will give you coins in return for showing all the weaknesses of Ethereum. But Bitcoin is kind of interesting. It's got a problem that is pretty systemic, and that is that you have to look at everything that ever happened to figure out what the balance is on either a receipt or a sale. Ethereum has kind of adds a database and the ability to put in small chunks of code. They call these small chunks of code that are literally programs that run called contracts. And those contracts can actually add and subtract. And that's what's getting hacked in Ethereum. That's still a problem because I don't know if they ever can solve that and make it 100%. But if you couldn't, it's theoretically possible that all Ethereum coins could be taken out and deposited in one account overnight. Probably not going to happen if the thief is that smart to come up with a way of doing it. But literally, if you can exploit that programmable block in Ethereum, that would be interesting. We've already seen, some issues with Bitcoin if you're not technically savvy. But the programmable part of Ethereum is kind of its weak point. The strong point is it's got a thing called a Merkle, and it has nothing to do with the head of Germany. It's a Merkle tree, and it's a way so you don't have to have everything that ever happened and go through it like a linked list. You could actually find just the part that you need and download that. Ethereum has one other thing, and that is that it adds the ability to have something else other than HTTP. Right now, everybody uses HTTP, but there's another standard kind of vying for the technology's mind space. And this one is kind of a cross between torrents and a Tor network. And we're kind of running out of time here. So I'll probably just bring that small point up when we come back from the break. Then we'll get into charts. But Ethereum, very interesting in its technology, but its versatility has a problem with its hackability. But my guess is Ethereum is a much better technology. The question is whether or not you can make it pretty much foolproof. We're trying now, but it's already been hacked. And a little less hackish is Bitcoin, but far less versatile. We'll talk about why Ethereum, the last leg of the stool, when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, the last leg of the stool, and then a question that I probably need to answer to wrap up Ethereum. One of the last things is something called IPFS, and that's the get it here. Why is that not correct? There it is. Interplanetary File System is what the acronym stands for, opposed to the World Wide Web. The idea is kind of a cross between torrents, but the idea is two things. One, if a website ever went down, you could actually find all the same data, and two, that data would be much closer to you. The idea is that eventually, if we had people living on Mars, some of that data would migrate and would automatically go to the peers nearest to you, even if you were on Mars, instead of trying to find the website that may be in Europe, and I'm trying to access it right here. So it allows you to actually put your data out there in kind of a worldwide cloud, like torrents are, where everybody kind of holds a piece of it. Kind of interesting technology in that you'll be able to get and download things like movies much more locally than worldwide, and then maybe you'd use some kind of key to unlock it if people were buying it. Now, the part that I didn't bring up is a good question. You see it, when does the Fed launch convert dollar currency to Bitcoins or Ethereum dollars or crypto dollars? Well, part of the stack of Ethereum does that without you doing either. Literally, if I'm a developer, I can put right in there in the stack, it all already converts all the different Bitcoins to Ethereum, Bitcoin to US dollars or yen or rubles or all the other stuff out there. The idea is that, at least for Ethereum, is that they would be a universal exchange of whatever value you have. No talk about whether or not gold would be included, but apparently the docs for actually using it as a developer already include all that. I don't really know how far that's in because it's really not being used that much, but it's kind of like one of those things that they put in there for future use. My problem would be that the government would not like this, and the prime example right now is Venezuela. The vice president of Venezuela is basically the biggest drug kingpin of South America. We are saying that you can't do business, at least U.S. government says you can't do business with a bunch of people on these different terrorist watch lists and drug watch lists. This would allow you to do business with these guys with fair amount of impunity. And my guess is that no government's going to like you doing that, whether it's somebody that's pushing this in the near future or not. So that whole part of exchanging cash and dollars without the ability to actually trace them, that it just happens somewhere out there in the world and probably not here in the United States, is not going to pass muster. The same thing for Russians and probably for people in various countries. You're not going to like, especially China. Man, would this be an easy thing to launder money with? You could just send money around robin. The upside to this and why everybody's excited about it is that there would be no bank involved, i.e., there would be no friction. There wouldn't be no Visa or MasterCard pulling 2% out for each one. So to me, the issues with this are probably not the technology, because they can probably figure out better levels of technology. But any of the encryption involved in this could easily be broken, but with a quantum computer. So we're getting very close to that. The other side of this, of course, would be the legal side, which is how much people want to get involved in something that your government may say "niet" in. I don't know what "no" in China is. How come we know it in Russian, but we don't know it in Chinese? I guess there's Mandarin and another version of Chinese too. Why is this called the interplanetary system? Literally because it would scale to interplanetary size. That is, if we had people on every planet out there, that eventually the data would kind of migrate to local servers wherever you were. Migrating this much data on HTTP has a lot of its problems. One of them is because of what we talked before, that Merkle tree, which is kind of a way of saying a database, a searchable database, a database that doesn't make us grab the entire thing and download it. That's Bitcoin's weakness and strength. Everybody has a copy of it. The weakness is that you don't have to have, or the strength of Ethereum is that you don't have to have all of it. You can grab just a piece of it by going and looking through the database. You could grab it all, but again, that's why this could be almost instantaneous, and it would allow commerce from country to country. But how much do you think, especially people in China right now, they're doing everything in the world to get rid of Bitcoin and money laundering and getting cash out of the country, it becomes problematic. So we'll see. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can call me at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And if you're just joining us in the den after Comcast has kept you out, you can always check for 24/7 versions of this show since they're all archived. But give me a call, 877-927-6648. Hopefully that answers everybody's questions. I got a lot of people asking me over the weekend, so I wanted to do that. But there's a lot of legs to the stool to Ethereum, and one of those could break. My biggest thought would be, especially if you're doing illegal stuff, is that it won't be that long before quantum computing can break all this. And if someone was, say, an unscrupulous person, maybe in Russia, decided to break everything, they could literally transfer all the cash out of your system fairly quickly. I don't know how soon that would be, but that's always going to be an issue. Okay, is that everything? Amazon, let's take a look at that. Of course, Jeff Bezos by Friday had to report that he'd sold $1 billion of his company. Doesn't seem to have bothered it today, but it looks like he sold most of that through last week as the stock shot up. Kind of nice deal to be able to sell $1 billion of your stock and no one even care or bring it up much. A little higher today with a $2.5 million, or excuse me, 2.5. Is that right? 2.5 million shares. But, you know, we were up here with 6.6 million shares on the 30th of October. When we get back, we'll get into earnest of some of these other companies. First, we'll look at T-Mobile, and how it reacted to not getting bought out today. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Anyway, T-Mobile getting smacked around here, not getting bought out. It appears that the T-Mobile SoftBank crowd wanted the CEO, he's got the name that's the same as the singer. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, they wanted the T-Mobile CEO to run the show, thinking he was doing a much better job than the Sprint guy, and that seems to have soured Sprint buying it. That CEO probably not thinking he wanted to go look for a new job. John Ledger, yeah, thank you. So you never know. Anyway, down fairly strong. I think this deal will come back. He just continues to be a bigger thorn in the side of these bigger guys. This is, of course, probably something that doesn't help Sprint or T-Mobile shareholders. But my guess is this deal will come back around again, as Sprint doesn't have really great management. And the T-Mobile guy, John Legend, seems to be one of these take no prisoners, jungle warfare guys that has learned a lot of the good lessons of Silicon Valley and applies them to his business, which is really kind of a retail business, and a lot of times very hard to put those guys up. Okay. See if I've got any emails here. Okay. What do we have? Okay. Just looking at some emails here and see if we got anything else. Let's go start looking at other things. Got some questions this morning about Qualcomm. I said I'd handle it during the show. Had several people ask me if they thought I should buy it. And I just happened to be getting one of these when Kramer was blowing about why a stock with a plus 60 PE is the one you should own, not Qualcomm with the 16 PE. We went over this with Tom on Friday, and I thought Qualcomm was, in a real buyout. They have something that no one else can have. That is patents, and these patents are the best patents in the world to own, in my view. These are better than the Rambus patents on memory. They're better than everything else because basically these things, if he doesn't win with they don't win with the first 10 patents. They'll win with the next 100 patents, and you will eventually pay. A lot of these deals eventually come up and get sorted out of court. But Qualcomm's patent list is so good that they, if they want to, could probably keep iPhones out of the United States. And they are that good. And they haven't threatened that quite yet. But my guess is that if Apple acts any more petulant and juvenile in this war of words, that Qualcomm could certainly do that. That's why I recommend probably holding options on Apple. If this thing ever went Saudi, you could find a lot of people in the Ritz penthouse. Just a thought. With Qualcomm, how much business licensing revenue and how much business Qualcomm has with Apple? Well, Apple only sells 12% of all the smartphones. So that'll tell you one thing. Apple acts like they sell 80% of the smartphone business because they actually get 80% of the cash in that business. They make the wide preponderance of the money, but they aren't that big a part of the business. They are about 12% and have been shrinking every single month for the last, last 5 years. So it's not one of these things where Apple has that strong a leverage against Qualcomm. Question is, what is the spread? It's almost impossible to say. Qualcomm's numbers do not break those out. Last time I looked anyway, do not show it. Most people just choose to buy the Qualcomm chip instead of fight them and use the other chips. And of course, we've talked about how, in fact, there's a great ad over the weekend from Samsung that pokes fun at Apple, and very well done. I posted the link earlier in the den, but you got to say that Qualcomm certainly has better technology going forward, at least for the next 18 months in speed. And I was kind of surprised that they didn't even get into that in the ad. They basically good-naturedly showed this guy slowly moving from Apple to buying a top-of-the-line Note from Samsung. But I think there's a lot of rich material to mine in that part. Got a question about what I thought. My guess is to answer the question, I think most of their licensing fees they get from their chips because it's just easier to do that. They do have some other licenses that other people get and build into their chips. But Broadcom's technology for 5G is not as good as what Qualcomm has, regardless of what that moron Kramer says on TV. Okay, so you got Qualcomm. It popped up here nice. It's faded out here. This is the dance that you'll watch over the next, 2, 3 months, 4 months, as Broadcom slowly moves its bid higher, and eventually Qualcomm says yes or no, and it just goes away. But my guess is they offered $70. It never got to that $70 layer. It got to 65.32 today. That $70 now is kind of the minimum. But my guess is that it's going to take somewhere around $90 to $100 a share to get Qualcomm. And there's no way to get around the patent wall that these guys have built for Broadcom. And Apple certainly thinks that, or at least Broadcom thinks that they can sell under their name if they acquire Qualcomm. But my guess is that we've got about 1.5 years to go before Apple actually starts bringing their own technology online. And I wonder how fast it'll take Broadcom, Qualcomm, and the rest of these chip manufacturers to see that they're out in the weeds when Apple starts building their own technology and all gang up against Apple, because that's probably what the future holds out here. Okay, wanted to take a look at some other technology and emails. Anything else? Would $80 to $90 a share make Qualcomm more valuable than Broadcom? Are you figuring that as cap weighted or as a value since their PE is only 16 and whatever the? Okay, we'll look at that. I think the cap of Broadcom is astronomical because there are 10 different companies.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
And in the den, they rightly point out that the market cap of Broadcom's 117 billion, while Qualcomm has a market cap of 92 billion. But that's not the real story. There's a ton of debt in Broadcom in its acquisitions. And this is one of these companies, was it Vertex Pharmaceuticals that was buying everything this year, earlier this year, finally blew up, or was it last year? I may be thinking about the wrong pharma company that just kept buying over. Yeah, VRX, yeah. It was the same company buying. And as long as it kept buying, it was a great Ponzi scheme. And then, of course, it fell apart. Broadcom is kind of that company, and I think the people at Qualcomm are probably a little worried that the exact same thing will happen with it, that there's just been acquisition after acquisition. No one really knows how much debt there is in Broadcom out there. So the question is, at whatever it is, $110 billion market cap, you got to add the debt onto both of that and Qualcomm too. My understanding is Qualcomm's debt's not anywhere close to it, but one of the reasons why Broadcom has a 60 PE is all that debt. So it's going to be a lot tougher. If I was Qualcomm and they offered me $95, $100, I think I'd have to take it. But Qualcomm adds patents every single year, and those, of course, patents restart the clock on 15 years into the future. That's why I said with Tom O'Brien on Friday that it's the next 15 years of smartphones, and it always will be. Didn't think that it being beat up with Apple was any big deal. Apple just acting petulant that it would have to pay the toll to go across the bridge, and they thought that they shouldn't because they're Apple. No one can make us pay that. We'll take you to court. We'll drag it through. Well, guess what? Litigation is a rich man's game, but Apple really doesn't have an upper hand in any of this, and Qualcomm could always drop the axe, and that is keep the phones out of certain countries if they fail to pay the licensing fees. So we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.